Hey guys, this is Pixel Dan at San Diego Comic-Con 2023. I am at the Super7 booth with Brian. What's up, Brian?
How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing all right.
You've been waiting for 2 days to talk to me about SilverHawks.
So many questions, man. So many questions. So yes, I think this is going to be a very SilverHawks-centric video here.
I think this is all we're going to be talking about.
It's got to be, because you got to explain this to me, man. So preview night, I came in here, saw these beautiful Vac-Metalized SilverHawks Ultimates figures.
Yes.
And you poked in a little bit while I was filming it and kind of talked about them a little bit.
Yep.
But, you know, I put that online. There's so many questions, and I totally understand why everybody's got these questions. Because you and I had conversations back when we were first launching SilverHawks, and you told me that this could not be done with, like, the softer plastics that are used for articulation.
And they can't, and it still can't.
Okay.
So this isn't exactly the same thing that we made last time.
All right.
So there's a lot of changes and things that happened to this. So we've been working on it for like a year and a half, because we're not completely deaf. Like, we know that people want Vac-Metal SilverHawks.
Yeah.
So Shartimus is not allowed.
Can't take that guy anywhere. So.
No. I can't talk about silver anywhere around him. All right. So anyways. So we've been working on it for about a year and a half, trying to get it to a point where it could be possible to execute in the way that people want. Now, there are some things that are still going to be a little off, but so the figure that we have now, you can play with, you can pose, you can, do stuff with. It will be okay. You can swap out everything. It will. Well, I have to get the right arm or correct arm. It will work. You can play with it. It is fine, but you have to still be gentle with it. You can't throw these things around. There's a couple things. Obviously, that's not snapped in all the way. There we go. There's a couple things that you have to be concerned about. So, like, in the process of how the Vac-Metal has to happen, they have to Vac-Metal the whole part. When we make this and we mold these pieces together, they're actually molded with the palm as well as this different material that we're using here at the same time.
Okay.
So they have to vac all these parts at the same time. In any other case, we would never Vac-Metal the palm. Vac-Metal can't stick to palms. It is not supposed to be Vac-Metaled in the joints anyways.
Okay.
So it's going to come with Vac-Metal on the joints, and you're going to see
it's going to rub off like it's doing here.
Yeah, you're going to see it rub off, and it's going to rub off on the palm.
On the inside there,
now, the palm here is not the correct color. The palm here will be a metallic silver. So you won't notice it because it's not supposed to be Vac-Metal.
Okay.
So it will be fine, and you can do your articulation. You can bend your arms and everything. Then we went in on the parts, and we adjusted the molds ever so slightly, so they're ever so slightly further apart, so that the parts are sliding above each other and not scraping on each other.
Sure.
Now, that said, where we will run into with him specifically, the problem that we will run into, like, same thing, like, this is all rubbed off. It's not even the right color. You don't even notice that it's not correct. You're like, oh, it's all chrome, until I go, like,
so you look and notice the joint. Yeah, okay.
But even here, if this joint is made out of metallic silver palm rather than
it won't stand out as much.
It won't stand out.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
The only part that we really have to worry about on this figure is, because we're using a much harder, different plastic, is his diaper.
Okay.
So the diaper has to be a little bit softer to get across the legs. No, what's going to happen is you will be able to squeeze this if you try. And if you squeeze it, it could crack.
Okay.
But how often are you squeezing his underwear? I don't know.
It kind of reminds me, if, like, I can reference another toy, the Masters of the Universe Classics line. They did that with one of the Hordaks, where they Vac-Metalized the armor, but it was a soft plastic. So when you bent the armor, it cracked, and it... Okay, so this is what you're saying about this.
For him, because of the way he is, there's no way to make this piece without making it one piece. But you can see, like, if you're gentle with him, you can pose him however you want, and it will stay Vac-Metal. But if you start throwing it off like he's flying, it's going to chip. If you get really gnarly with this, it's going to chip. But as long as you're an adult, which I think most of us are, you will be able to have a Vac-Metal SilverHawk. But there was a lot that we did in re-engineering all of it so that, like I said, the parts don't rub against each other. They float above each other. And then changing all the plastics that we're using in here so that we can get Vac-Metal on here. Now, the other thing that's going to happen is there's going to be ever so subtle imperfections in Vac. In here, I think there was one that we saw on the side of one foot. But it's like literally you have to like zoom in with a microscope to see it.
Okay.
But as a whole, this is what you can get in here.
Okay.
So
yeah, I mean, it is a harder plastic, just so you guys know. Like, it feels a lot like the vintage ones.
The same thing. It's just, you know, especially when you're dealing like in the previous version, if you really wanted to get that high range of motion, you would bend a little bit of that diaper piece over.
Sure.
So you have to be careful, like, not to go crazy with that. But like, here's your wing.
All right, let's put the wing in. Okay, is that? I mean, the mirror finish is beautiful. I mean, I'm leaving fingerprints all over it.
But yeah, I also have greasy potato chip fingers and everything.
So there's definitely, like, you know, obviously going to be a lot of discussion around the fact that, like, these were definitely the versions most of us wanted from the beginning.
Well,
and then, you know what I mean? So
I understand that, but it also, I'm not exaggerating when we're not even done yet.
Right.
It took us 18 months to get to this part.
Right.
So if you want Vac-Metal, the toy version, you know, you can have it. Like, you can see even here, like, the shoulders are even reversed. They're not even on the right way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You know, you can get the Vac-Metal now.
Yeah.
But I don't know what else to say other than we're trying to give you what you want.
Sure.
But it's not as simple as just like, oh, yeah, just go make a thing.
Do you guys have, like, ideas on what a price point's going to be on this? Like, is this going to make it more expensive?
It is more expensive, no doubt. The scrap rate on this is higher.
Okay.
Is it going to be horribly expensive? No, it's either going to be 65 or 75. We just don't know which.
Okay, all right.
You
all right, so $10 to $20 more.
Yes.
For the Vac-Metalization.
For the Vac-Metalization.
Okay. All right.
And like I said, if somebody gets a piece and it's messed up, we're going to have some extra pieces for it. We know what it is, but like, that's the hardest thing is like, I've got oily putty fingers. Now it's all over.
It's all over the figure.
It's all over the figure.
So you do already have these listed as like Ultimates Wave 4. Like,
yes,
so this is going to be the fourth wave.
Come on, we're in somebody else's video, dude. Come on, what are you doing? You're trying to ask a girl how well she's on a date with another dude?
You know I've done that.
Oh, man.
So they're in there's like a Wave 4 Toy Colors wave. So you got like the Toy Colors Buzzsaw and like a Toy Colors Monstar in here too.
Exactly.
And they've got some extra parts.
Yes, so we've made a toy color, a toy accurate head on Buzzsaw, and the same thing for Monstar.
Yeah.
So this whole wave will be toy color. And so obviously people really love the toy colors that we did for Thundercats.
Right.
So we did it here for SilverHawks. Wave 5 will be Copper Kid with his vehicle, plus probably another figure. And then Wave 6 will come back and make Vac-Metal on Steel Wheel and Bluegrass.
Okay, so you will continue. So you're gonna like finish up those SilverHawks.
We got to finish up the core team, make all animation accurate, and then
we're gonna do the rest of them Vac-Metal after that.
Yes,
is the plan. That's the plan. Okay.
I need a polishing cloth now for my fingers.
Yeah, right. Because you're leaving the fingerprints all over.
I am leaving more than fingerprints.
So these are already set, but you are still trying to figure this out and work it all out all the way.
We've got some more engineering to do, but it will move pretty quickly.
I mean, it's very mirrored. Like, that shine is really incredible. It really is.
It's bonkers.
These are definitely the SilverHawks I wanted. I mean, like, not even joking. It's interesting because, like, with you know, with like the Thundercats, and you guys did like the animated versions first. That was cool because I think a lot of people really wanted animated Thundercats because we had never had like the show accurate ones.
Yeah.
I feel like SilverHawks has a bit of a smaller following, so when we think of SilverHawks, we think of the Kenner figures first.
Yeah, because I spent less time with the animation.
Yeah, and I think that's why this is what's in everybody's mind primarily.
And
you know what I mean?
And I'm not. I'm trying to say that I hear that.
Yeah, right,
which is why we're here a year and a half, 2 years later.
Sure.
But it's like it's taken this long to get it, and a lot of cajoling and convincing to get factories to be willing to do it.
Okay.
Because the scrap rate and the inconsistent, all the things that go along with this is so high. Like assembling this, we could break some of the vac metal and then that whole piece is scrapped. Like,
right.
It's taken a long time to get to here. And part of it was re-engineering ever so subtly the whole figure so that, these things slide on top of each other. So,
yeah, exactly. All right,
so,
well.
Does that answer?
It answers a lot of questions. Yes, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk about it and everything. This has definitely been
like you said,
hot topic.
So when you pop it out, like when you first get it and it's vac metal, and you pop it out, and
it's gonna rub off the vac metal here. Do you think we have to worry about that?
Should never be vac metal.
Do you think if breaking the vac metal here, will that expand out?
Because it's a different part.
Okay, all right. Oh, it is a different. You're right, because it's a joint piece.
It's part of the palm that goes into here, which is not this PVC.
All right.
But when we make these parts, when we mold this part, we put this part into the mold, and this is molded around it.
Okay.
So that's why I can't take it apart and do them separate.
Gotcha.
So I've got a vac metal this as a whole.
Okay. So are the painted parts painted over vac metal?
Yes.
Okay. Very much like vintage toys.
Yes.
Very much like vintage toys. Okay.
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah. Okay.
You can see right there. I chipped the paint.
Oh man. Okay.
So right
in here.
Right in there.
So that is something you'll have to kind of watch out for too. Paint over the vac metal.
Yes. I mean, look, I don't think it's news to anyone watching this that vac metal is preposterously fragile.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to make the most durable version of it I can that gives all the fans that have been asking for it the exact version that they want.
Sure.
So for all the people that why didn't you give this to me 18 months ago? It's like, I couldn't, but would you have wanted me to never try?
That makes sense.
I kept trying to make the thing you asked me for.
Right.
So hopefully...
I totally understand. I understand also the feelings of I bought those because I thought these were never going to happen kind of a thing. So I get that side of it too,
Yeah, but these are rad. Come on. I only love Chrome SilverHawks.
That's right. Yeah, I can pinky up. Chrome SilverHawks is that's my SilverHawks for sure.
No.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, look, I appreciate you answering all the questions. I know it's just been on a lot of people's mind. It's on my mind. And you're just going to let him have it? And he's just going to...
running off with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
None of us would be surprised.
All right, what else do we need to talk about?
All right, Brian. Well, we should probably talk about the Cat Slayer.
Oh, you talking about
We're going to put that in another video, I think. So
yeah, let's do that.
Let's end the SilverHawks one here. But thank you for answering all the questions. I really appreciate that.
And thank you for everybody that has supported the SilverHawks line. Hopefully, I'm making the figures that you've wanted.
Awesome. Well, there you guys go. Shiny Vac-Metal SilverHawks and all of the answers that go with it at San Diego Comic-Con.
Stay up to date with Pixel Dan at San Diego Comic-Con 2023. Follow Pixel Dan on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Or you can support the channel through Patreon and unlock other exclusive content. Thanks for tuning in to your premier source for all things toys with Pixel Dan. See you again.